Hi friends, and welcome to my cross stitch channel. My name is Amanda Mae and I'm the lead designer behind Ardith Design. You can find my work, my blog, my shop, everything at ardithdesign.com. And I'm also on social media under Ardith Design, and I'll have everything down below if you would like to follow along with me and see the needlework journey. I love being a thread that connects historic needlework to contemporary needle art, as well as just genuinely sharing the joy of counted cross stitch. I just love it so much. So this is a special episode. I am going to show you the Maryland State Fair exhibit from 2022. So that was last year. So today is August 28th, 2023, but I'm going to show you the 2022 episode that I filmed, as well as some stuff I just filmed to show you what my pieces look like styled in my home 1 year later. So this is important to me to share the Maryland State Fair counted thread exhibit, not only to highlight other stitchers in the area, but also people who weren't able to make the show for whatever reason. It's held every year during the Maryland State Fair in Timonium, Maryland. And the requirements for the show are you have to have finished the work that you're exhibiting for the counted thread category within that year. So to be eligible, my stitching had to have been completed between August of 2021 and August of 2022. So that year window, things had to be completed, and that's what qualifies. So everything that I showed in the exhibit last year were from those dates. I had documented a lot of my work, whether it was works in progress or fully finished objects, on previous Flosstube episodes. If you want to go back into my catalog here on YouTube and see my stitching progress on those projects, you can totally do that. This again is a special episode. I'm going to show you the entire exhibit. I filmed it on my iPad at the show. The lighting isn't the best at the exhibit hall. It's in the Home Arts exhibit hall in the 4-H building there, like right as you walk in the main entrance for the fairgrounds. It's the first building on your right when you're walking down. It is handicap wheelchair accessible, and it's air conditioned. There's bathrooms, and it's a really nice area. They also, this is the open arts, home arts category exhibit. They also have like rug hooking, quilting. They have the canning and the baking categories, and then the other half of the exhibit is all the 4-H, all the kids stuff. Within the home arts open category, there's also the youth, so kids who are not in 4-H but want to participate in the fair. There are categories for that, and in my show here I'm going to show you there are entries for youth. It's like 12 and under, and then teens, I think it's like 12 to 18 or 12 to 15. There's a category for them as well. I want to stress really hard right now that the rules and stuff that I'm telling you right now are just specific to the Maryland State Fair. You want to look at your local county fair, state fair, however it's set up, for their own rules and requirements. So in this exhibit, you're going to see a lot of stuff hung up. And there's a requirement that you have to have everything on these wire hangers, and then you cover your backing with paper. That can be a brown paper bag, that can be scrapbook paper, but it has to be able to be hung if it's in a frame, and you have to have some sort of paper behind it for display purposes, and you'll see that in a minute. I'm going to do my very best to talk through the exhibit. I don't know all of the designers and all of who stitched what. So on the exhibit, for the exhibit, it does show the person's name and the location, like the city that they are located in. I did not block that out because it's part of the exhibit to show the name and the city. But I did do my very best to block out any faces of people who were attending the show and looking at the exhibit. I didn't want to show any passerbys' faces. So because of that, some of the images I might have moved a little quickly on. Please know I wasn't trying to deprive you of seeing all the beautiful needlework. I was trying to respect the privacy of those who were at the exhibit viewing everything. Again, I want to show the exhibit in its entirety, not only for people who couldn't make it, people who are homebound that can't get out of their homes, and then people who are out of state or out of country who might be viewing this. And so I want to film that. I want to say also, this is super important to me. I was inspired to enter the Maryland State Fair because of fellow Flosstubers that participated in the fair. It encouraged me to do so. I had never participated in anything with the fair as a child. I didn't do 4-H. I didn't do anything. I had no idea that adults could participate in the fair until I saw other people, other stitchers, enter their county and state fairs and exhibits. So I want to stress that I was encouraged to do so, and I want to put forth that encouragement to all of you who might be on the fence about entering your fair. So I did make up a little list of reasons why you should enter your fair, whether that's the state fair, the county fair, or city fair. Check your municipality or your region and how it works and their rules. I know you can check up a lot of stuff online and see how things work. So number one reason I think you should enter a fair is to share the joy of needlework. So this is so important to me. So you are showing your work, whether you think it's the best thing in the world or you're like, I could have stitched that better or whatever. Mistakes and all, flaws and all, you should show your work because it encourages other people to do so. The other reason you should enter the fair, accountability. It keeps you accountable. So you can keep track and encourages you to keep track of your projects when you've started them and when you've finished them. So if you've got that requirement of it had to have been finished in a certain amount of time, you have that. Also accountability for finishing your work, fully finishing, whether you are sending it out to a professional framer or you're doing all the finishing yourself or a little bit of both, or you have a friend help you finish. It keeps you accountable and it keeps you doing things. So FFOing. I will say entering the fair has caused me to be super accountable and actually fully finish projects. If I didn't have a deadline, I wouldn't necessarily be like, yes, I need to fully finish something. So for example, this right here, I was encouraged to fully finish this and enter this into the fair. This is the Totem by Sitka Stitches. It is an out of print chart. I decided to fully finish it as a 3D stand, and I entered this in and I did get a ribbon for it, which was awesome. So I used like Wonderfill wool, I used styrofoam and padding, I used like a mounting block, I used hot glue. I made this so it can fit right on, so I can store it separately from the base. But I wouldn't have decided to fully finish this if it hadn't have been for the fair. And then now, hopefully someone was encouraged, saw this and thought, wow, maybe I could fully finish something like this. So sharing the joy of needlework, keeping yourself accountable, fully finishing your projects. Those are some of the reasons. Also, I think it helps you get out of your comfort zone. You're mixing it up. You're doing something new. You will have, though, if you enter the fair like I did, 3 times that you are visiting Timonium. Number 1, drop-off day, when you take your items in, dropping them off for judging for the ribbon. Number 2, I think you should actually go see the exhibit in real life while the fair is open. There's an incentive. If you enter the fair, you get half price tickets for entry fee. So instead of paying like $12 per person, it was $6 per person. So you have a financial incentive to go back because it's half price to get into the doors. And then the third day, you do have to go back and physically pick up your items once the fair is all done. Good news about picking up the items, though, is they have paperwork for all the categories for the following year. If there's any special competitions or special prizes, and then all of the information for deadlines, entry, all of that stuff is on that paper. It's later uploaded onto the website for the Maryland State Fair, but it's not as quick as like the physical printout that you get right there. So I am hoping to share this information moving forward for anybody thinking about entering the fair for the 2024 season. The 2023 season is happening right now as of filming. This is August 2023. The first week of the fair I went to, I have that exhibit filmed, but I'm not going to put that up on YouTube until after the fair is over. That gives all the entrants a chance to see it in real life. There's no spoilers, and I'll just do it at a later date. So there's that. So you get out of your comfort zone, and then, you know, hopefully you encourage other people to participate. Just from entering the fair and going, I take my kids with me. They saw that there was youth categories for Lego building, for clay sculpture and modeling, for painting. And so this year for 2023, my kids entered the fair under those youth categories and got ribbons. So you're encouraging others to participate as well. So without further ado, I'm going to do the exhibit, show you all about it, and I'm going to show you some of my finishing and then where my work is 1 year later after the 2022 fair. So stay tuned, follow along. I appreciate you. Here are some photos of me fully finishing all of my fair entries. What I did was I used all thrift store frames for the exception of a shadow box that I did. Here I framed this with a frame and then use shelf liner for the back, and this is the frame I used for Strawberry Fields Forever. This is the shadow box I used for the carrots here. This is by Stitchy Princess Black. I also used garden twine as well as other twine to make the round that goes around the pattern here. Here's the Strawberry Fields Forever, so I got it all ready. Here, the totem pole, so I am working on a 3D model. I got my styrofoam hot cutter out and created a chart pattern, and I started cutting out styrofoam and then regular foam to see the pattern and how I liked it. This was all trial and error. I decided to use the flat foam instead of the one that was angled. And then I tried to glue the foam down, but I ended up having to lace it down. So I laced the front and the back using just 12 count cotton. I used just a plain back for the totem. As you can see here, it took a lot to lace it down, and then I did it on the front as well and laced it all down and then connected them. This was a true labor of love as I have never made a totem pole before, and then I went and hand whip stitched down with the Sue Spargo wool by Wonderful Threads, and then I added the base here. I went ahead and, here is woven wool that I wound up into little balls. Here are my entries. They're my parrots. I put bases on them, and this is what the final totem pole looks like. All right, now we are going to move on, and I'm going to show you the exhibit. Here is the exhibit space on drop-off day. As you can see, it is pretty barren, and here is the day of the fair. We are starting with a collection down here that are in the case. We've got a manatee here stitched on Ada, and there is a pilgrim pear here stitched, and they are finished in uprights. They have the decorative buttons. The autumnal buttons look like they're from Just Another Button Company. Up here is an embroidered tie. It's got a fish embroidered. All the embroidery has to be hand embroidered. They don't accept machine embroidery for this exhibit. Here is the perforated paper. It looked like a snowman. Here is a biscornu. This is a Stitcher's Accessory Any Item. That's a third place win there. Here is for any holiday decoration category. This is a really nice box. It looks like it's needlepoint, and it also has custom buttons. It is Oh, here is Merry Little Christmas framed. Down here is perforated paper and beads. It might be a Mill Hill kit. It won first prize in its category. Keep Calm and Paddle On. That is finished as a box. Really nice. Here is Scatter Eggs. That is on Ada. And here is a little decorative pillow. And it says something about use, about cheap. Here are 2 embroidered pillows. They are finished. There's quilting cotton on it. And so there's the sunflowers as well as the Americana theme. Now we are going up here. I'm going to be rotating between showing you stuff up on the wall, the frame pieces, and then stuff down that's behind glass. Here is the, oh, there's my first entry. Now we're moving down. This is Owl Forest embroidery. It's one of the fox pieces. It's so pretty. I'm really happy to see that one. And then there's my sunflower piece. Here is a Florida State sampler. Up here is more of a traditional sampler. Isn't that pretty? So that got 3rd place in its category. Up here, this looks like it's full cross stitch. It looks like it's 100% coverage there. Beautiful piece. Here, look at that. Oh, and it looks like they're making like a little heart. There's the Cardinal sampler, the Brenda Gervais piece. Here, Jennifer and Tiffany Love Wins. That's a marriage sampler, and it has a really nice matting on it. Really lovely with the rainbow in the house. Here's Fresh Eggs. Next, we're going to be moving down, and this is a blue flower sampler. I love it. It's got the bear and the butterfly, the house. It's a really pretty like northwest sampler. Here, another traditional sampler and Robert's sampler. There is the fresh eggs with the rooster and the hens in what looks like a pie tin or pie pantry. Down here are stamped cross stitch pieces. This is a Halloween pillow that is on, it looks like 14 count Ada. This is a holiday piece on, I don't know if it's a counted or if it's stamped cross stitch. There's another Halloween pillow on a purple Ada cloth, a mountain scene and nice round scene. Your wings already exist. All you have to do is fly. There is one of those decorative towels. This is a punch needle piece, punch needle embroidery. Lovely piece there. Look at the beautiful stitching there. Here is a pansy embroidery towel with cross stitch, another towel piece. There are bees here and a hedgehog. Looks like freehand embroidery. Here is punch needle, and that looks like the Flanders Field poppies here. Punch needle piece, really lovely. Moving down here are feathers that are embroidered. Here's hands, and it says family, and it's the profile of all the different hands there. Here's a Converse shoe with embroidery on it. Moving to embroidery of chickens being fed by a little boy or a little girl. Next here is a pastoral scene embroidery with long stitches and it looks like bullion knots, French knots here. It's a youth embroidery category for that. This is Starry Night scene, the Van Goghs, and that is punch needle embroidery. That is just lovely, beautiful. Look at that. Next, we're moving down. Look at that feather. It's beautiful. That is in the needlepoint and embroidery any item category. The cactus here, embroidery, youth embroidery category. Coffee is on a tea towel, and there is my entry, the parrot. That's punch needle. Right, so that's in the case here, and we're moving up to the wall, and look at those dinosaurs. I believe that is full coverage. They're all cross stitch. Moving up to the Maryland flag inside of the Maryland state crab, or the blue crab. There is a really pretty basket, and it's got the summer floral display and the American flag. God Bless America, and that's a sampler there, My Sweet Home. Very lovely. We're gonna move on now, but I can't stop looking at the dinosaurs. So Simplicity, that is by Cottage Garden Samplings. She has a huge series of those birds and I love them so much. Up here is Christmas, Not Even a Mouse, not a creature is stirring, not even a mouse. And then there is from Alice in Wonderland, the rabbit. We're late for a very important date. Let Freedom Ring, Independence Hall, 4th of July. Sampler, it looks like that got the Presidential Award as well as first place in its category. Beautiful, the frame is beautiful with the stars. Here is a girl and a little one in a hammock. I believe that is crowel embroidery, but it's some sort of hand embroidery. It's lovely. All Hallows Eve, I believe that's by Hello from Liz Matthews with the pumpkins, the Quaker pumpkin motif. Here is really beautiful cross stitch. It got first place and it is a fence with daisies, butterfly. Everything in this case here, for the most part, are all plastic canvas pieces, plastic canvas embroidery. There are several that are bricks that are like the doorstop bricks. And then that's a really cute Christmas tree. This one has the integrated frame with the pictures. Look at this popcorn piece, so fun. It looks like it has crocheted popcorn on the top and then the plastic canvas container. The jack-o'-lantern, plastic canvas, coasters, and then another one of those movie nights. And it looks like that's the place where you put your ticket stubs. This is a carousel. Got first place and it's got little googly eyes on the horses for the carousel. There are some Ravens football, it looks like on perforated paper with cross stitch there. Lovely. And more plastic canvas. There's a purse and tissue box holders. Super, super fun. I love the three-dimensionality of all of the plastic canvas pieces. Laundry, the never-ending cycle, and there's the wishing well that is also a tissue box holder. The baby here, the nursery with charms, and the crib is got that three-dimensional look to it. And there is a desk or office organizer. Here we are Needlepoint Beautiful, Zachary and Jennifer. That's a marriage sampler there. Moving on, I believe that's Needlepoint, really beautiful work there with a purple matte frame. There is a cottage, English cottage maybe, with a brook and beautiful fence. Moving over here to the hummingbird, and there are some black work elements here with the floral and the butterfly motif. Down here, I love this little winter stitching. I want to say that is a Barbara Anna piece, but I could be mistaken. Down here is the Easter, I believe it's Lizzie Kate sampler. It's a carrot sampler with the alphabet. And oh, look at this beautiful piece. That is also needle point. This full coverage dragonflies. I want to say that's a dimensions kit and it's full coverage, but I could be mistaken. Here is a little zebra with a zebra baby. Perforated paper, or that might be on, oh, what is that crab on? It's beautiful. I love it. It's got beadwork. Deborah Powers, and it's a sampler. A house is not a home without books and cats. The hum of the bees is the voice of the garden. That's a lovely little Quaker style sampler. This is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. So this is a powwow blanket with cross stitch down the center. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. And then it has the patches on it as well. Here is my carrot sampler that I finished by Stitchy Princess Black. And I put it in the shadow box, but took the plastic off the front of the shadow box. That is a bird. We got basket there with the needlepoint patch, a perfect sampler there with the cats and alphabet. This jellyfish is so beautiful. I'm not sure if this is black work embroidery or if that is needlepoint. I couldn't get close enough to it to see it, but it's so pretty. And then down below there is, I won first place for flowers, for the flower category, for that little sampler. This is an elephant. How cute is he? So fun. This is that needlepoint on the purse, so lovely. And then they have the quilts hanging up and they put plastic over the quilts to keep the dust off. All right, we've got more plastic canvas in here. So lovely. And plastic canvas, some more there with the tissue box. I like the koala. That one is super precious. And oh my gosh, tissue boxes, they're so cute. I need to make a long, narrow one for the types like that one, that blue one. I need to do a fun one like that. Oh, here is, look at that cute. She's ready for the beach, the snowman, snow lady. Here is embroidery on a greeting card, needlepoint on a pillow. It's got that quilted geometric design. Here is a box with a traditional motif, and this is a needlepoint stocking, and it's beautifully finished with the trim. Here is another needlepoint stocking with the dimensionality of those stitches, and then it's got like a gold bead trim around it. Here is counted cross stitch cow wearing heart sunglasses. This is a fringe pillow needlepoint of a like an autumnal bouquet in a glass, maybe glass ball jar. I really like the color and composition of this piece, and then who doesn't like a good fringe? Here is a beautiful piece. It's got the grapes, then the grape leaves. Look at that beautiful nautical pillow. But this piece, oh my gosh, look at all the stitching and the Star of David motifs. That's so beautiful and lovely. The pillow is needlepoint, and it's got the specialty knots and stuff around there. Here is another pillow. Look at that beautiful decorative stitching there on canvas and all the beautiful geometric work. Lovely. Next, we're moving on to a first place. It's a cowboy. I don't know if that's supposed to be Santa, a nutcracker, or just a gentleman. And it's canvas needlepoint holiday. So I want to say it's Santa. Down below is a purse, and it is on canvas, and it's got the bamboo motif. This hat has some mermaids lounging. Looks like lounging on a raft or on kelp. Bingo player's prayer. That's cute. I really like that hat. It's really fun. This is a needlepoint pillow, and that's full coverage. Lovely. We are going to move on to the Santa. He is lovely. He's got that custom braiding around, and he is finished as a stand-up. I like the stitching where it looks like it's Sherpa lining or that fleece, that wool fleece lining around the cuffs and the edge of the coat, the Santa coat. Here is, it looks like a Charlie Harper bird ornament set, but precious. And it's got the Easter decorations with the bird seed. Here is another needlepoint on canvas. And this is a welcome bell pull cross stitch. Look at these ladies at the beach. They are wearing their festive little dresses, the flamingo and the palm tree. I like the composition and how that was finished. Here is a beautiful purse. It looks like it's all embroidered there. And the yarmulke, really lovely. Here is a Day of the Dead piece. Crocodile, it looks like an eyeglass case, a football themed needlepoint, and a little teacup that is a pin cushion with some beaded or jeweled elements there, and then custom, it looks like the Jabco buttons. Very nice. Beautiful mix of different needlework there. Here is a Christmas tree. It looks like a pink tree. Here, the wise men, and it's finished in an arch. And it looks like that canvas is iridescent with the sparkle. This is a small needlepoint Santa stocking. There is my goat that I did for the Christmas entry. Here is a Christmas tree. Here is a lady, it looks like Hardanger there. She is an ornament. Love to stitch, and there's miniature little yarn skeins. So precious, and scissors. This, I love this. And with the button, this is needlepoint with the pumpkin and the moon with a moon bead and like a metallic spider. Embroidery canvas stand-up. Here is the Statue of Liberty as a stand-up, also needlepoint. And then I love this, really lovely, and it has the different like reindeer charms and Christmas charms, gingerbread. Another needlepoint piece, needlepoint, oh, so lovely with the stitching. There is a hedgehog frame, and this belt got a President's Award, and it looks like the hunters are at the farm and they're going hunting with the dogs. Here is cross stitch, and then cross stitch kettles, like tea kettles. Japan, and that is stitched with, oh, beautiful. It's got beadwork, specialty stitches. This is a needlepoint sled finished on a frame that is like a front door stand-up frame. What a clever way of finishing that. I love that. Here is a sheep needlepoint box finish. Down here it looks like wool applique with embroidery stitching. Plastic canvas. Here again, I think this is the same lady that did the ladies at the beach, those dolls. And here there's flip-flops, red coral, red crabs, and then they're hung on little hangers. Here it looks like a quilt square, but a needlepoint, and then a Mill Hill cross stitch ornament. Oh, look at all those beautiful specialty stitches. This looks like it uses whisper thread on that happy Santa ornament look. Here's, oh, how cute is that? And it got Santa and the cushions for like a dollhouse miniature. This is finished cross stitch on a sled on perforated paper. Here, I think it says kindness as a stand-up, and another one of those quilt block style pieces. This is pansies finished. And down here, it looks like it's a scissor case, and a BTW LOL JK Season's Greetings. That is an ornament, beaded, and oh, those are so lovely. Cross stitch beaded pieces. Here is a spool ornament finish. Lovely, lovely. Down, oh, look at the kitty cat trying to get the goldfish. That is on Aida fabric. This looks like it's full coverage, and it is the wildlife all around this beautiful white Christmas tree, and then there is the church and like log homes and stuff in the background. That is really lovely, and it got first prize in its category. You can see beautiful back stitching and the back sides of those animals. Really lovely piece. Here, this got a presidential award, and this another presidential award. Nice. You can see there's like a chipmunk, girls sitting on a wall together. This looks like a bell pull. It's a beautiful, it's type of embroidery. The circular motifs there, and then the nation's a morning tribute. There, I believe that's all cross stitch. There's the pansy embroidery. There we go, a little bit closer. And then all the back, I'm not sure if that's back stitching or if that's single stitched. I couldn't get close enough to see that. I apologize for not having more details on some of this. That's a black work sampler, the chipmunk, and then the jack-o'-lantern, the happy jack-o'-lantern there. Beautiful. We are moving over another presidential award, special award. The yellows are special awards, excuse me. The beautiful Japanese, it looks like maybe it's supposed to mimic kimono fabric. Then down there, Christmas in London, a farm scene with sheep. and an outbuilding. Yeah, so the presidential awards are the red, yellow, and black ones, and then special awards are the big yellow ribbons. There is a sampler up there with fish and geese. Here's a raccoon in the corn. That is embroidery. Here is beautiful piece. I want to say this is Kathy Barrick. It might be Carriage House samplings, or it might be Kathy Barrick piece. Giving thanks, double, double, toil and trouble. Oh, it's so neat to see that one finish in the July. There is a Santa finished on a wooden backing, and there are ornament and scissor case as well as a box. There is no privacy with a cat in the house. Here, a little miniature bell pull, but it's finished like on a spool. It looks like it's stitching over one. Needlepoint here with a bunch of metallic threads. Wow, looks like a beautiful little frog. There is youth ages 6 to 13 category for that embroidered piece. Here I entered under the category of original design. My boat, my sail is a little crooked. There is the corgi stack there, and then a carousel piece. The corgi stack is so cute. Finished as a pillow. Got my eyes on you. On the Hunt, Happy Easter. I like those finished as stackable blocks. And then the Boo Eek, those, I believe that's by Kathy Haberman. There is a Biscornu, Summer Wishes, and Bumblebee Kisses. And then Double Double Toil and Trouble is a Halloween pillow. Embroidery, that is any item embroidered. That is a bracelet there. A sled finish, and then Hello Summer, that's on Ada, finished as a block, and then Tea and Honey placed on top of, it looks like a decoupaged box. Really lovely finishing in all of these here in this case, and that embroidered bottom, it looks like a tree skirt. Merry Christmas with gingerbread men and beaded holiday ornament. A queen bee, first place in that category. And then there's children's bibs, more beaded ornaments, Santa, snowman, de los de Muertes, like a Halloween style. And then the traditional cardinal. Here is Cranberry Christmas, finished with, looks like red and white ticking. The July 4th finished there. Love that finishing. Merry Christmas with the plaid pillow. Season of Light and Love, and that is on a wire hook that you can hang up. Time for Tea is framed, pretty colors. There's Let Freedom Ring, and it's in one of those tartlet tins. Here is the garden scene. Here is one of the little rounds, the Valentine's Day. Here is a finished berry and a finished duck bib and towel set. There is another one of those in the hoops. I think it's like an in the round witch. And then moving over to this last case, and there is my totem. Here is a kitty cat in a bag, and then another cross stitch piece. So we have reached the end of the exhibit. And I'm so happy you got to see all of the pieces with me. Oh, look at that gobble gobble turkey and the dog peeking out. Oh, Dennis, light blue submarine. That's a really neat piece. Those are needle point pieces. Oh, more beautiful needlepoint, patriotic. And there's a nutcracker coming up. Here's some kitty cats. And a little one blowing on doing the wish. There's that nutcracker. Saw out of the corner of my eye. And more needlepoint. Eat chocolate. Yes, please. Beautiful, beautiful work. That is counted cross stitch there, that bird piece. I'm not sure the maker, but I really like that. Or it might be embroidery. Again, I couldn't get close up to a lot of these, and that's on purpose. They don't want people going over, touching, putting hand, you know, oils and stuff from your hands on these pieces. And a lot of people finish their needlework not in frames, so the last thing you want is for people to be touching them. Oh, that beautiful, that is a Halloween piece there. And give thanks, there was a beautiful woman there with the long red dress. I want to say that is completely full coverage cross stitch. The traditional cross stitch samplers, Santa, the light, the candles there. There is that Cape Cod sampler, the newsboy with the newspapers, the lighthouse, a witch, and now we're picking up my stuff. This is pickup day, so I had to make sure I picked up all pieces. I had 7 pieces that I entered into the fair, and I'm so happy I did it. Okay, it's Amanda here. So we're at my wall. I wanted to show you, this was my 2022 fair entry. And the frame is this frame here. And what I did is I found this one at the thrift store. It's literally the exact frame that I used here. And I found it again, so I bought it. And I framed this piece here. I used all the called for colors and fabrics that were called for this design. And I want to show you, so here's the back of it, and I got the first place ribbon. Here it is, and then I put this backing. I used, is scrapbook paper. Here was the note, very nice stitching, nice framing, fine work. And the category for this one was sampler under 8 by 10. The other entry I did, this is on a 28 count fabric, and it's by Bright Needle, I believe, the pattern. I love sunflowers. As you can see, this is a sunflower one that I did, but that did not get entered into the fair. This is the one from 2022 that got entered into the fair. And again, the back, you need to, the rules are you have to have a hanging tab so they can hang it, and then you have to have paper or something behind it. I use drawer liner for this, or I want to say maybe it's like removable wallpaper. And this one was cross stitching and needlepoint sampler, mostly cross stitch, 15 to 18 inches was the category. And I did not place for this one, which is fine. And she wrote nice stiff competition on the back, so I did not get a ribbon for that, and that's okay. Dining room, and this is my other entry for the fair. All right, we are in my little area here. Up here, this was one of my other entries I had. I took the ribbon off. I got 6th or 7th place for this. And I liked the tinsel trim I used. And this was a goat. This was in the magazine, I think it was the Joy of Stitching magazine, the re-release, all the digital issues. So I stitched that. Hi. Hi, babies. Okay. And then over here, here's I've got 2 entries. So I did the carrot here. This is by Stitchy Princess Black. This is Blackbird Designs Yellow Submarine. I did not enter that one, but I did enter this one here. This is, I'm trying to remember who this is. Let's look what I have here. So I found this frame at the thrift store. Oh, and I taped the ribbon back behind. Says nice stitching and framed well. And This one, whoops, the category counted cross stitch flowers under 8 by 10 was the category. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching my tour of the 2022 Maryland State Fair Open Arts Home Arts category for counted thread and counted cross stitch, needlepoint, and embroidery. I hope that I have inspired you to either attend a fair, volunteer at a fair, or submit entries at a fair. Remember, you matter and your stitching matters. Take care and happy stitching.